Let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. In a futuristic world where holographic technology has become so advanced that holograms can now be imbued with mass, the game of Duel Monsters has once again evolved. Now you can actually interact with your monsters and the environment created by your cards. So a new form of dueling has become popular, one where holographic cards are scattered throughout the environment that you can pick up and use during battle. These are called action cards, and their existence has spawned a new form of dueling called action dueling, where it's actually necessary for the duelist to be mobile and active and quick and sharp and physically capable during a duel. In the world of action dueling, a subset of duelists have emerged, entertainment duelists, who, while they play to win, primarily use dueling as a way to entertain crowds and bring happiness to people. Yuya Sakaki is one such person. Yuya is everything that's great about past Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonists rolled into one character. He's a good-hearted teenager who loves games, is perhaps a bit childish, but also has a level of emotional maturity to him. And yet he's still allowed to have emotional breakdowns, he's still allowed to cry, and he's still allowed to be vulnerable. He's a strong duelist, but he still needs to improve. He's not perfect yet. He's no Yugi, but he learns and he grows by going on adventures where he plays the game that he loves, often early on at least in a professional setting, and eventually has to deal with escalating threats. But what's great about Yuya is the character traits that are borrowed from previous Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonists aren't just slapped on him for no reason. The writers use them to create a baseline for a character who would be instantly recognizable as a Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist and would be instantly compelling to Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans, who could then grow and change and become something I would say almost totally unique to the franchise. I'm going to talk far less about the plot of this series than I did some of the past ones, because this is a much more current series and I don't want to spoil it because it's really good. There's a really strong mystery aspect early on where the young head of a corporation starts acting kind of antagonistic to Yuya. At first he seems like a villain, but then things kind of change, and then the characters discover that there are multiple dimensions, 4 dimensions in particular, where dueling is kind of different in each one. And some of them actually have characters in them who are alternate dimension versions of some of the coolest characters from past Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchises. Minus the protagonists from those franchises, obviously. Which is another example of them drawing something from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise and using it in a different way. Eventually, the dimensions come into conflict with one another, and Yuya and his group, they call themselves the Lancers, travel to the other dimensions and fight against the Evil Academy, which is a dark version of Duel Academy from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. There are legitimate twists and turns. There were entire episodes devoted to plot that were fully engrossing, because I genuinely wanted to know where the story was going. In most Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows, even the ones with better stories, the story is just an excuse to get to the duels. But in this series, like the original series, the duels were just kind of a fun and exciting bonus, sprinkled on top of a good plot. And yet, I'd actually go so far as to say that the plot of this series is better than the plot of the original series. It takes things further and is, in a lot of ways, more complex and interesting without, I think, going too far. I mean, yeah, the traveling to other dimensions thing is pretty ridiculous, and the build-up we've been getting to the climax of the series in recent episodes has been equally ridiculous, with some of the most advanced technology that we've seen in the franchise to date. But the escalation of things is such that you believe it. You believe that this stuff is possible. Not only that, but it actually harkens back to the original series and to GX by reaffirming once again the idea that Duel Monsters cards have souls. In fact, we find out later on in the series that the holograms with mass have very accidentally allowed anyone to manifest real monsters with real souls, at least for the duration of their duels. And because of that, the monsters can actually respond to their duelists. They can actually interact with them, and it's really pretty interesting. But at the same time, more than ever before, duel monsters can now be used as a weapon because you don't even need to have magic powers to do it anymore. Literally everyone wearing a duel disc has a weapon of mass destruction on their arm. And while there are some things that I would have used this series to explore that they didn't really touch on, they still explore a lot. There are characters from the Evil Academy, for example, who have clearly been brainwashed by the Academy's doctrine, and who have to deprogram themselves to become good people again, who now have to fight to remind themselves that the things that the Academy taught them aren't true. And even up to the end, even after he has underwent growth as a person, Yuya is still allowed to be a fragile, sensitive, emotional person with genuine depth, which makes his character seem a lot more courageous than some of the past Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonists, because he is afraid and he feels weak, and he doesn't want to hurt people even when he doesn't have a choice. and yet he still fights. I'm not going to say anything more about this one because, like I said, I don't want to spoil too much. If you are a Yu-Gi-Oh fan and you haven't watched this series, what is wrong with you? Go watch it now. It's really good. In fact, this is my second favorite series after the original. And at the end of the day, I'm not really sure if I rank the original higher because it's genuinely better, or just because I'm nostalgic for it. That thing that I've been doing at the end of these videos is actually taken from this series. It's actually one way of translating what is basically the catchphrase for the series. That's how much I enjoy this installment in the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. The characters are great. The plotting is great. The story, well, being as overblown as some of the most overblown Yu-Gi-Oh stories, does it so much better than probably any of the others that actually got as overblown as this one, at least. And Yuya is, without a doubt, the best Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist since Yugi himself. But if you are interested in watching the series, I'd recommend that you hurry up because the series reaches its climax tonight. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyone who has seen this series, what do you think of it? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed the Oh There's No Place Like Home for the Yugi-Days holiday mini-series event because I certainly enjoyed making it for you. This has been AJ22 and I will talk to you guys later.